Welcome back to Rule Your Game, the only local program featuring teens doing great things. Rule Your Game is sponsored by QC Family Focus magazine, produced by Mickle Communications, and airs exclusively on the Quad Cities CW. Our next story is not about a local team. Instead, it is about a man who is admired by former and current Moline students. Former graduate Josh Larson introduces us to these special fans.
And now surrendering the home team from Moline High School.
It's funny that the most recognized one never played a game.
A lot of great names have echoed through Wharton Fieldhouse. A.C. Earl, Steve Kaburski, Red Auerbach, even mine. But his never did.
I'm Dexter Johnson. I graduated in 1972, and I'm looks like I'm a Moline superfan.
If you want to see Dexter Johnson, go to any Moline boys or girls sporting events, and there you'll find him.
You see somebody like Dexter in almost every town. Every town has one, and they're a little bit different character from town to town.
He's someone who's very knowledgeable about Moline history, athletics, but he's probably your go-to guy for the weather as well. He's just kind of a jack of all trades.
It's incredible the memory that he has on basketball games, and particularly with the weather.
I was teaching a grammar lesson, and so I called on Dexter because he was looking out the window.
I kept looking out at the sky, and that sky was getting darker and everything.
I said, Dex, what's the question, or what am I asking, what am I talking about? And he says,
It looked like there'd be some wind, hail, and very heavy rain. And I told everybody in the classroom, when you get to your car radios, just be aware that there may be a severe thunderstorm watch or even a good chance of a tornado watch.
Guess what happened?
And it did just that too.
A beautiful sunny day that it was when Dexter started talking about that. Down came the rain and the storm, and it got dark, and everybody in the classroom, Dexter was in the middle of the room, they all pushed their desks away from him.
I think they couldn't believe it. I called that right.
So it was a classic Dexter moment.
We got a 1960s crowd here. There's not an empty seat in the place. It's packed rafter to rafter.
Well, they're guesstimating about 6,000 people in here, standing room only.
I was getting ready to do my first basketball game, and the place was pretty full, and I was nervous. I'm going, oh my goodness, I've got to go out in front of whatever we had that night, 3,000 or 4,000 people, and dust mop the court. And I went to the back corner where we keep the broom at, and I picked it up, and I was getting ready, and Dex walked right up to me and took it out of my hand and says, I dust mop the court. And I said, thank God, thank you, Dexter. Have at it, brother.
And I guess I've been doing it ever since then. It's been a trend or a pattern. Well, playing on that driveway ever since the 1960s, then I seem like I can have a home court advantage in the field house there, because the field house is like my friendly confines, you know.
Dex playing the Moline High School kids in one-on-one, that was a big thing.
I don't really remember too much about whether I won or lost. I'm sure I lost if you ask Dexter.
Dex loved to brag. He had a running total.
52 and 8 over basketball players, but 957 wins, 58 losses overall.
I played Dex one-on-one, or not even one-on-one, just horse. And he's got his shots.
I remember him being really unorthodox, and he'd throw them in a really unusual way, but they'd go in.
Dex was beating a freshman basketball player. They were playing to like 10 or something like that. And Dex was ahead. And I'm standing next to the freshman basketball coach, and he says, if Dex beats so-and-so, I'm cutting him from the team. And I'm not so sure he wasn't half serious about that.
He made a scoreboard that emulates a digital scoreboard out of wood. And he took the time and made that, painted every little block color orange and black background so it looked like a digital scoreboard. And he would bring that out in his basketball court out front. In Dex's basement, he has many plaques that he's made. It's Dex, the greatest basketball player of the year award. And bless his heart, he's made those and he's awarded himself, but those come from his many victories over the years playing against Moline basketball players.
He goes up into the student section and they're high-fiving him. Kids that aren't even athletes know Dexter. The kids know it and they root him on, they cheer him. They may tease him slightly, but he may tease them back a little bit too. But you know, that entire student section knows exactly Dex. He sits dead center right there, and he's ready to go, and the kids they're talking to him, and I think it's great for the high school kids.
Dexter was always just part of the group. He was just part of the family.
There was a void. He had Moline athletics there for him.
I haven't gotten real personal now, but I'm sure that this place definitely, you know, was family substituting. There's no question about it.
My parents took me to my very first basketball game I would get to see in the field house. Well, my mother had ovarian cancer and that passed away on March 16th of 74. And my dad had emphysema and passed away on Christmas Day morning of 1974. My mother and my dad told me one day I'll be up in heaven with them, we'll meet again, see.
When are we going to get our game in?
I don't know. Big question mark. I have to see, I guess.
Unfortunately for me, I don't think my game will come. Dexter's famous trot has slowed to a walk, and there may come a day when he may not be able to come to every game.
He's getting older. We're all getting older, and it would be, if it was something where he was seriously ill or injured or something, if I was out here, I'd probably have a lump in my throat doing it, and whoever did it. And the old timers that come time after time, it would be incredibly sad if he's not out here and incapable of doing it for whatever reason.
People remember Moline athletics. They might not remember scores and specific games. I know I certainly don't. But the one constant that they've always had is they can count on seeing Dexter at these games.
That will be, the day that Dex doesn't do this will be sad.
Dexter's a legacy. Dexter is always visible. And because he gives all of himself, he holds nothing back when he speaks. Your children learn from him. They learn kindness, they learn enthusiasm, they learn passion, they learn all those things from Dexter. And the beautiful thing about Dexter is that when my children were babies, he was there. When they graduated, he was there. He's there still for students. He has been at Moline for athletes and for students and for families and for coaches. His entire life is dedicated to that school. And that school has embraced him, and he has embraced that school. And that is a wonderful legacy.
So that's Dex, our superfan. He continues to mop at every home game, and the legend sweeps on.
What a great guy. Thanks for introducing us to him, Josh. Fasten your seatbelts. Up next, we are hitching a ride on Uber. Our junior reporter has our report when Rule Your Game returns.
QCJumps.com. Bounce houses in bunches of shapes and sizes from 10 by 12 to 15 by 15. An 18-foot slide, a 30-foot obstacle course, or just go for the beast. QCJumps.com. Whether it's a birthday party, a neighborhood block party, a family reunion, a church fundraiser, or a school carnival, QCJumps.com is your source for family fun. Call 563-940-7154. Quality entertainment at an affordable price, delivered right to your door. Well, your backyard anyway. QCJumps.com.
Since joining the Y, I feel awesome. The people there really care, and with hundreds of free group exercise classes, pools, and water fitness, and great stuff for kids of all ages, my income-based family membership is more than worth it. Plus, with the Y's important outreach and support programs, I feel even better. My membership helps to make the whole community stronger. And that's just awesome.